Welcome, world, to Everybody Struggles. We got a very special guest. It's Miss Jasmine. She is the owner of LYL. If you see my beard shining right now, it's because it's by her oil. And if you see my skin melanated right now, it's because of her balanced body oil. So I know a lot about you. Tell the world a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what you're currently working on.
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Lang. I'm from Los Angeles, California, born and raised LA native. I am not 30 yet. Look at me, I'm ready. I will be 30 soon, so I'm 29. I currently own a natural body care line in Los Angeles where I create body care products that inspire people to be more conscious with what they're putting on their bodies and to inspire consciousness of the mind, body, and spirit to get more connected to yourself.
Wow, that's beautiful. So tell us a little bit about growing up in LA.
Growing up in LA was a huge melting pot. I feel like I grew up around a lot of chaos. So for me, I felt very disconnected from that because I'm a person who likes stillness. I like quiet. I like peace. And so growing up in a huge city, I always tried to seek something outside of what I was around, which is one of the things that inspires me the most is being in nature. And because being in nature was not something that was common here, I felt like it took me a while to feel the love growing up in the city. I felt like I was always constantly observing what was happening around me, but I felt disconnected from it a lot of times. But at the same time, was still within that loving, like being here with my family, growing up around the beach, like all those were great additives as well too. But I feel like within LA, if you grew up in the city, you have like city values, and a lot of the city values are external things. So it took me a while to really find within myself what I valued. I remember being in kindergarten. This is one of my first memories. I used to sit at the top of the jungle gym and just watch everything. Like while everyone else was playing, I was like the person that knew everything that was happening. So when kids would go inside and they would lie about who hit who, I'm sitting in my mind thinking like, well, I saw the whole thing, but I never said anything. I just paid attention like, okay, so this type of person does this. This type of person is this way. And I paid attention in which ways I needed to implement myself around those types of people.
That's beautiful. So I want to ask you one of the starting questions. It's a little hard, but this is like, the question that I like to ask before we begin like the real raw material. What's the hardest thing that you've ever dealt with in your life?
I would say the conditioning of feeling like we have to be a certain way or being a certain person. I feel like a lot of times right now, especially in our society with social media and everything, everyone's trying to search for their purpose. Everyone's trying to search for who they are and who they want to represent to the world. And I feel like a lot of the actions can come off very performative and we feel like we have to be in these roles. So for me, I try to take myself outside of who is Jasmine, outside of the person that owns a business, outside of the person who reads books, outside of the person that, likes nature. Who am I outside of these roles that I've actually created for myself? And I realize we're all unlimited beings and we don't have to be defined by anything. So unlearning a lot of the things that we've learned is a part of just being a part of this life.
That's beautiful. So what did you do to learn how to overcome or live with the social norms?
Yeah, just honestly, taking away the things that I felt personally convicted by, the things that I felt like were energetic blockages within me, taking those things away. So taking away boys, taking away drinking, because I used to have a lot of fun with my friends. Taking away those things allowed me to see who am I really without all these things that are void fillers a lot of times.
Yeah, that's real.
They're all void fillers.
It's crazy that you say that because I feel like every person out there like uses some way, shape or form to like be able to fill these voids, feel like something's missing. And, even for me, drinking was one of them. And then I had to stop and I think I stopped drinking for like 8 or 9 months. And then now like my perspective on drinking is different.
Right.
Where other people, it's
Right.
like, hey, I'm trying to drink so I can talk to this girl.
Right.
It's like, what? Like, nah, bro, you need to be able to talk to that girl without the alcohol.
Right. And I did it for 2 years. And a lot of that felt very lonely because I'm disconnected from my friends and everything that everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the talk of growing up in your 20s is going out and partying and having fun. But I'm like, this doesn't resonate with me. Like, I had fun doing it at some point. But a lot of times I wake up with like kind of like shaming myself. Like, this doesn't feel like me, you know?
Right. So the next question I have is, what are some of the life struggles that you've had, you know, throughout your life?
So within that, to play back on that, I felt like it was huge for me to establish my authenticity. Growing up in LA, I feel like we all kind of listen to the same music, wear the same clothes, wear our hair the same. So it was very like huge for me to establish what felt authentic to me.
Right.
And showing up as my fullest self without any, like literally like stripping myself naked without all the labels, all of that, and just literally just showing up and being present.
And people have a hard time with that sometimes.
Yes, that was part of the thing that I observed from a kid.
So what did you do to overcome that? Like get through that? Because I think it's very hard to get to that place.
Like I said, taking myself out of the conditions, exploring like in solitude, spending a lot of time alone. At some point in my life, I had to spend a lot of time alone to realize what it was that I needed to do for myself so I could show up, I felt like, as the best version of myself when I'm around other people, you know? So I would say solitude was a huge one for me. Prayer. And within that, I felt like I gained a strong spiritual connection. So prayer was huge. Yeah, those two are very essential.
I mean, I think it's important for people to be able to tap into that because you have to be authentically, naturally yourself.
Right.
Because, you know, people play these roles and try to live other people's lives as opposed to the life that you're supposed to have.
Right.
So then the next question is, what are some of the daily struggles that's holding you back from your fullest potential?
Learning the balance of the spiritual and the worldly aspects. Because sometimes I could take myself so far where I disconnect. Where I'm like, I don't give a shit about any of this. I don't care about like none of this. I don't want to do anything. I just want to lay on the beach in the sun, like get a tan. So learning the balance of how to be of this experience and implementing the spiritual aspect of it as well, and teaching and influencing other people that, you know, you don't have to live with limits.
Right.
You know, we can all live unlimitedly. You don't have to put yourself in a box with anything.
That's where that godly figure comes in.
Oh yeah, all day, all day. Like I preach about God with everything.
Yeah.
Like it's the first thing I say.
It's the best way to live. So, being that you went through that, how did you learn to get there? Like, learn to like live with it?
Yeah, I would say I've always been very sensitive, very intuitive. But I feel like when you have a lot of distractions, it's easily blocked.
Right.
So I had to learn what it was that was blocking me, and also learning how to listen to that inner voice, that inner guidance,
Right.
and just really tapping into that inner knowing.
That's a beautiful thing. So now, based off of all the stuff that we talked about, what's your outlook on life now?
My outlook on life now is we're all learning, we're all growing. I look at people and I see the beauty in everyone. I definitely focus on trying to see the beauty in everyone. And I look at people as like my brother and sister. I feel like we all come in contact with each other to teach each other something.
Right.
And so I'm always trying to be very present with people when they're speaking to me. I feel like I carry people like in my heart. Like I may not show like to someone like, oh my God, I love you so much. But I feel like I'm always thinking and praying for people, like even when they don't know or they don't even see that, they're not even telling me something that they feel that I need to pray for. But I can like feel that. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I hold that up.
Right.
Like that's my part of it.
It's important. The world needs more love. It's so important because you got too many people out there that are like super sensitive.
Right.
And, you know, hyper masculine. Like, you know, you got to have that balance.
Yeah, that's my business name. It's called Linear Love. And at the time when I created it, I didn't understand what I was really saying. I just was like, I like the name Linear Love. I feel like it's a part of me. And the intention was to genuinely just spread love. Right. And like, you know, something that we lend is like a currency. It's like it keeps going, it keeps flowing. And so I feel like that's really just me being, because love is infinite. There's no limits on love. So me just being of love and leading with love every single day.
So then my next question is, what's your ultimate goal in life?
My ultimate goal is to just be like free, just freedom with everything, like freedom in my relationships, freedom in my career, my business, my creativity, just to allow everything to continuously flow and to enjoy like this experience, to have fun and to know that everything that I've learned thus far has led me right here into this moment and just to be grateful.
That's beautiful. And my last and final and favorite question, if you were to give someone advice that looks like you or that has been through the same experiences as you, is there anything that you'd tell them?
Okay, so I didn't mention this aspect, but growing up with a single mom, well, my mom was married, but she wasn't with my father. And so I grew up without a father. So being a young Black girl in a huge city without like that masculine figure can be very, you have to learn discernment. You have to learn discernment, especially if there's not men around you teaching you how you should be treated, you know? And especially for me, like, I feel like men flock to me, but at the same time, deciding which man I should even give that energy to was a huge thing for me. Right. And especially being someone who loves and leads with love, you realize not everybody has the same intentions as you.
9 times out of 10 is everybody
I learned
doesn't.
hard lessons within that. So I would tell like young girls to just use your discernment, listen to yourself. Don't feel like you have to be anybody but yourself, and to just do you, girl. Like literally, do you.
Do you, boo.
Right.
Thank you for taking the time to, you know, sit down and talk with me. It was a pleasure. Make sure you follow her on Instagram. It's LYL
Body Care.
And please leave any questions, comments down below and follow the next episode.
I just want you to know